Fuck it, man.
All right, we live. We live. How we doing, everybody? How we doing in the YouTube space? Y'all make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe.
Yeah, already know, man. What's going on with y'all brothers, man? D Smith, what's good?
Nothing much, man. Nothing much. I watched the I won't say documentary. What was it? On BlackBerry. It was like almost like a like Social Network, kind of like that, but it was shot in a mockumentary style of camera, and that was pretty dope. I thought that was pretty good. Other than that, I haven't caught up on Shogun yet. I'm still like 2 episodes behind on Shogun.
Well,
y'all kind of got to me there when y'all was like, man, Shogun, done.
Yeah. Hey, it is what it is, man. I ain't gonna say done, but it took a dive after episode 3, bro.
Okay.
It definitely took a dive after episode 3, man. You know what I'm saying? But let's kick this off right from the top, man.
What you got?
Anime Freaknik.
Oh hell! Oh hell! I can already see it already. Cheap animations of like anime girls twerking with big asses.
Well, you want to know what's funny about that is I don't know if y'all remember this. What year was this, man? I'm combing through my memory right now. It had to be sometime between like 2010 and 2013. There was an animated movie that they did on Adult
Oh
Swim
yeah,
called
Freaknik. Yeah.
T-Pain was in it. I think
Mhm.
Killer Mike.
He was Freaknik. He did the voice of Freaknik.
Yeah. T-Pain, Killer Mike. CeeLo Green was in it.
Yes, he was.
Who else was in that, man?
I haven't seen it in a while.
Yeah.
All I remember is there being a Black Illuminati, and it was Oprah Winfrey and Al Sharpton, and Al Sharpton was the Perminator. Called himself the Perminator.
Right. So.
And then there was a song about strippers.
Because it was a musical.
Yeah.
Musical. I think T-Pain.
That's the one I remember. Was the one about the strippers.
Yeah, because T-Pain did all of the music for that joint, man. And I'm just wondering, like, you know, there's nothing new under the sun, but why is it a good idea to do an anime version of Freaknik? Why is that a good idea?
Oh, you're asking me?
I'm just asking in general.
No, that's a terrible idea. That's a terrible idea.
Because you know, in the blurred spaces, in the blurred spaces, that's something that the culture needs an anime, not animated, but the culture needs an anime Freaknik, right? But meanwhile, in real life, there's a negative connotation attached to Freaknik, so it just kind of makes. You know what I'm saying? It just doesn't seem consistent with the narrative, is what I'm saying there.
Could we give the users an idea of what Freaknik is all about?
Go ahead, brother.
Freaknik was basically black version of Spring Break, was it? I want to say Spring Break.
Yep.
Specifically held in Atlanta, where 20-year-olds got together to drink their asses off and do sexual activities. And we will leave it at that.
To quote Jermaine Dupri, he said, "Tell you what, y'all, I really miss the Freaknik, because that's when my city used to be real sick." And that's all he said on wax. He didn't give up nothing more than that.
Because there's a lot of people there's a lot of people that's never been to the South and doesn't understand what Freaknik was all about and stuff, you know. But you know, having lived in the South and having never lived in the South in the 90s to understand what was all that about, you know, other than, you know, listening to Uncle Luke, you know, and in the Tootsie Roll days and shit like that, you know, we could only imagine what kind of life they were living in the 90s, and it was pretty damn wild and shit, you know. But I mean, for something to happen like that today, standards and stuff like that, man, it's just and then the Blurs want to take on it and have a nerd take on Freaknik. Like, I don't really understand the purpose of it, honestly. I thought that already existed in a dietary berry, but everybody wants to do a Diddy party of that shit without the Diddy.
Okay, here we get. What's in that glass, brother?
Rum and Coke.
Oh, wait. Oh. And this is the third one.
It said it's satisfying the bloodline.
on a Monday night, man. I like it. I like it on a Monday night.
I'm only doing it out of your request not to come out here sober.
Oh, shit. Well, I don't know. Like, and I don't want to seem like I'm always bombing on the blurred community, but nah, man, we don't need them problems, man. It's rough. It's very rough. You know what I'm saying? It's rough to be a black man in some of these spaces right now. So the idea of an anime version of Freaknik just sounds like y'all trying to get us the fuck up out of here, man.
hey, if females only work on it, can we really blame the dudes though? Can we really blame the men? If all of the females work on it and just them, if we're excommunicated and we're not working on it, can we really be held responsible for it?
I smell boundaries.
I'm not answering that.
I smell here's my rough take on this whole anime Freaknik society. So I feel like that there is going to be boundaries and there's always going to be an issue and stuff like that. Like if you're not with the it crowd, you're just not invited. Like it's their own anime version of the cookouts being part of the Freaknik and stuff, and we can only imagine the type of rules and regulations and terms and agreements, stuff like that. I feel like that there should be contracts that need to be signed. Some NDAs need to be signed for this type of event to actually happen and stuff. Because at the end of the day, you could sit there and say like, "Oh, we in for this Freaknik," but you don't know. Everybody else has levels, Everybody else has levels of what type of freak they are and stuff like that. They might be into some shit that people that are like, all right, I didn't expect this to be at a Freaknik. I said, well, you gotta specify. If it's not in the contract, then somebody's gonna come all out and shit like that. This is definitely bloodline rules.
Oh,
you'd expect to see surprise appearances from random ass people and stuff like that. You might just even get a motherfucking dude who eats faces from Miami that comes out there and stuff. I thought this was a bath salts freaking party.
Oh gosh.
So let me ask you this: how many conventions have you been to since you got started on the circuit? How many conventions have you been to, bro?
My cosplay career started in 2012.
Okay.
I ended it in 2022. So I've been an active cosplayer for about 10 years. I've been involved and I've seen and I've heard just about everything under the sun when it comes to the cosplay community and stuff.
Okay, so what is if you were able to disclose this, right? Without naming the convention, or if you want to do that too, but like, what would you say is the wildest situation that you've experienced or been witness to at one of these conventions, bro? If you're able to disclose that, of course.
I can disclose. First and foremost, everybody should know that I'm from the DMV area, so I'm definitely from the East Coast. The East Coast definitely has some wild ass parties, but I'm not here to compare conventions of what happens in Midwest and what happens in the West Coast, stuff like that. Everybody else has their wild ass stories, stuff, But as for the East Coast, the things I've heard is, of course, there's always orgies that takes place at these conventions and stuff,
About orgies?
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. But there's orgies that do take place. There is no room numbers disclosed, but I'm pretty sure it does take place. You just gotta start thinking that every room has a max about 10 to 12 people per room. And these are usually rooms that has like 2 queen size beds, stuff like that, just to paint a picture of what a hotel room is supposed to look like for a typical con goer, If you got it like that, you can get the presidential suite and act all presidential and stuff if you wanted to, you know. But far as I know, yes, these type of things do take place. The wildest thing that I've ever seen in my damn life is there was a cosplay strip club, you know, in Maryland. The things that I've actually heard, maybe I'm gonna have to reserve that for a different story time, you know. But it's wilder than a Freaknik party and stuff.
Really?
Yeah, it's wilder than the Freaknik party, and it's wilder than what you guys hear from rumors about what furries are all about, stuff like that.
Oh hell! Wow.
Wilder than that. There are some also things that I also want to point out that I definitely need more conventions to start clearing the air and actually having a lot more restrictions and safety precautions for a lot of people who goes to these conventions, because there's a lot of things that I have conflicts with right now, and I will speak on that at another time as I gather my thoughts. But yes, anime conventions are pretty wild. There is some freaks out there. There is some crazy. There's freaks and geeks, as you can expect. So they just know how to conduct themselves very, very. They're high functional freaks. If you know where I'm coming from, you know. Meaning
I do.
And you might not think that they're not freaks and stuff like that, but don't let the intellectual banter like get the most of you and stuff like that. Behind that intellectual banter is a motherfucking freak who's got these kinks. I could drop a rap song on this shit real quick. Freaks, geeks, kinks. I mean, put it all together, man. It's there, you know. But yeah, man. The wildest I've ever heard, man, was orgies and strip clubs. That pertains to the cosplay community. But I feel like that a convention, that's gaining notoriety real fast here, definitely in the East Coast, especially in the Washington D.C. area. I'm gonna let the viewers pinpoint where that's going to be at, but they should already know that the conductors of the anime Freaknik are coming from this community out of the Washington D.C. area and stuff like that, and they're trying to conduct this to be a staple in an anime. Oh, actually, more so in the blurred space. But you don't necessarily need to be a part of the blurred community to be involved in something like this. Just being an anime convention and know how to ask the right questions, as I'm being told.
Okay, so next question for you, O. In total, how many conventions do you think you've been to in total? If you had to put a number on that.
I can only estimate. I can't go off the top of the dome, but I'll probably say 30 plus.
Okay. And that, like, I see in my head. I mean, I never got into cosplay. In my head, I imagine that starts off kind of tame, and the later in the night and the more days it goes on is when it starts to get ratcheted up a little bit, right?
Yeah, you could pretty much look forward to things ramping up around the 9 p.m. time frame, going into 3 a.m. to almost 4 a.m. If you've seen, I don't know if anybody, I mean, I'm pretty sure y'all have, but if y'all seen Hangover, and the time that they rented that hotel and that hotel was trash, it's at that level of caliber of freak.